There is no shortage of history when it comes to both the old Tappan Zee Bridge and its historic replacement, the Governor Mario M. Cuomo Bridge. But one man has been a part of both chapters of our region's transportation history. He was one of the first to actually drive over both spans. Fios One's Christine Corrado, she has his story.
Bridges have played a large significance in Armando Chick Galella's life. At 96 years old, Galella was the first person on Thursday chosen to take a ride over the new New York Bridge in a yellow Corvette, riding shotgun along with Governor Cuomo. He calls it the highlight of his lifetime.
I got on with him and drove. I say, I hope you know how to drive a stick shift, Governor, because I don't want to be jumping around all day. So
Chick was also among the first to cross the original bridge when it opened in 1955.
Isn't that amazing? To do that in a lifetime.
Chick, who has lived in Sleepy Hollow for his entire life, is a Pearl Harbor survivor, and he lives to tell the tale of that fateful day on December 7th, 1941.
All of a sudden, whoom, whoom.
When Japanese planes bombed the military base, Chick lost his best friend, John Horan, also from Sleepy Hollow, who got killed running to his plane. Chick named a park after John in Sleepy Hollow.
And I go there. And he put a flag there for him. How did I do that?
Chick managed to escape Pearl Harbor alive, and on his way home, it was sailing under the Golden Gate Bridge, where Chick says he first learned the war was over.
Pretty good.
Now once a week, Chick goes down to the Hudson River, looks over at the bridge, has a glass of beer, and remembers the war and his best friend. In Sleepy Hollow, Christine Corrado, Fios One News.
When future generations look back at the construction and opening of the new Mario M. Cuomo Bridge, they're going to turn to just some of the covers that we've been sharing with you during this program. They're also going to lean on the work of people like our next guest. Peter Karp, photojournalist with the Journal News and LOHA.com. He's been tracking the rise of this bridge since construction began some 4 years ago. Peter, thank you very much for joining us. And again, in 2014, basically the paper said, let's show this thing here. Right. And as I saw in the piece that people saw in the paper today, it kind of seemed, not that it happened overnight, but for a long time, for those of us who even went by, you'd see basically, you know, the basic structure, the concrete in the bottom, then all of a sudden it seemed like the bridge just shot up. I mean, it was 4 years, but kind of moved fast. Right.
It was the beginning. Most of the work was pile driving, and even before that, there was testing pile driving, so it was just really slow. And it was just when they were working, once the piles were in, all you'd see is little dots on the river where the tops of the piles were. So for the longest time, there wasn't much to look at, and you couldn't actually even see a lot of people working because they were just on the barges with the cranes. And right. Once they got the piles up and the piers built around the piles, the supports shot up, and then they could really start working really fast. And
on time and under budget, although we'll talk about math a little bit later in the show. But in terms of how, and we're showing our audience some of the amazing photography you and other photojournalists at LOHA did. You did it in a bunch of different ways. We'll talk about the thing on the table here in a second, but you had a couple different contraptions, right? I mean, you did what you guys called drive-bys, and then you also had, you know, literally a contraption you built yourself here to show the vantage point, I guess, from if you're moving car going over it, or if also you're driving by it. You did aerial photography. Talk about how you captured some of these images.
Well, the one you mentioned was, I call it a pole cam. It's basically just a GoPro camera on a pole, a tall light stand, which I put when you're driving over the bridge, if you looked out to your right, you couldn't see over the fence to get a clearer shot. So what I did was I just put the pole through the roof of the moon roof of my car, and I was able to see over the fence using that, and just kept it running for a time lapse and some video also going across. And I did that several times over the last few years, so from that same angle you could see the piles, the towers rather, rising up in the center. It's just basically it's a GoPro on a stick with the remote control through the camera and just left it running.
You were also able, with aerial photography, to show what it looked like from above as well.
There's several of us have been up in the plane. Frank Becerra's been up there a few times, and I've been over it a few times with planes out of Westchester, and it's a great point of view.
Yep. And then we have what we have in our table. As we showed, and for folks who don't see it all, you got to go check it out on Low HUD. There's like a 4-minute time-lapse video that's amazing to show when it went kind of from concept to reality. But talk about how drones, not just in this project, but overall in your world as a photojournalist, how they've really changed how you can get not only still imagery, obviously, but video as well, and how far it's advanced in a short period of time.
It has advanced very quickly, and these drones are new to us. Just this year we started using them. We went to training. Ricky Flores and myself were partners. We always fly 2 people, 1 pilot, 1 camera operator. And we've used it a lot on the bridge construction in the last few weeks. We also did a series on Westchester golf courses where we did this.
I got to ask, so if somebody sees that name over there, explain what it is for those who don't speak Spanish.
Air Chuleta, it's pork chop. My Ricky Flores named it that, which is also his nickname. So.
The images it got were amazing. And explain kind of what it can show that you can't see, obviously, even if you're in a moving car or even if you're taking aerial photography.
Yeah, it's a great point of view, and it can, with an airplane, you can see a lot, but this has the advantage of being able to fly not so high, so you can fly 100 feet and see things that an airplane would be hard to pick out from that height. So it's incredible, and the detail with it is incredible. It's a 4K video on it, so it's super sharp.
And it's really changed the way that people, not just obviously for folks on the print and digital side here, for on the broadcasting side, how you can cover stories like we're talking about the flood in real time. Well, it was amazing, some of the photography you did, and some of the video you captured, and again, as we showed our viewers in this segment, especially with the time-lapse video, to get an idea of that scope of a project and how it can come together over a window of time. Peter, great job, and thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Thanks.
All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for our program this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. The road ahead as we take a look at the Mario M. Cuomo Bridge and how it got from there to here. And for more, please head over to our Facebook page. Just search Facebook for Richard French Live. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.